Corey, very good to have you on here, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
Jumping right into it with you here, though, Corey. Where does your interest in music stem from? When did that kind of interest enter your life?
I feel like people always have these like cool stories, like early memories, and I'm always like, damn, that's sick. I wish I had. I don't know. My mom used to always play like classic rock around me. It's like the earliest memory I can remember, and she was into all the cool like the standards of like Bowie or Allman Brothers or any regular rock music that is sick. And then I feel like from there, it's like my brother. I had like a brother who's 4 years older than me, who definitely like everything he liked when I was that age, I liked,
You,
obviously,
you got
you
to,
know.
and especially if he's driving you around, you're listening to his tunes. That's just the
Oh
way that
yeah, I
works.
mean, yeah, he showed me like all the early DIY punk stuff and took me to shows. And I'm from New Jersey, so I have a strong memory of like a Misfits thing was definitely like pretty epic for me.
I was gonna say, yeah, Jersey synonymous with Sopranos, Misfits.
Yep.
That's
I'm
yep.
from I'm from around where the Sopranos take place. I know many of the places that you see in the show. I've been to personally.
And that's
Um,
that's about all we're gonna say about that because we're not gonna try to get anybody in trouble here. That's just we just know a few people who are from around there. We'll just say that.
Yeah, dude, it's fun. My dad used to like when it was like on TV and like the biggest shit in the world. When I had like family come and visit, my dad would like take them around to be like, "Oh, this is where they shot that. Like, this is like this neighborhood this happened." And like, I just remember my cousins like losing their mind because
That's
it was
that.
like the biggest shit ever. I feel like when it was on TV.
Yeah, I feel like now it's even in a resurgence.
Right.
Now I recently just watched it, kind of like the last part of this last year here, and so I'm a big fan.
That's great.
I'm just about 25 years late, but hey,
Hey, dude.
better late than never.
Yeah, it's almost better to watch it now because you get to see it for the first time.
Yeah, yeah, it was
It's cool.
it very a lot to it, which is good. I like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Very hefty stuff, but very cool. Also, Danzig is in one of the episodes, I believe.
Danzig is?
No, I'm just kidding,
I was
but
like, wait, when did that? I was like, wait,
yeah.
what?
Season 2, episode 5.
Oh, right, that one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you're kind of getting introduced to this through family was like kind of the initial spark.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Okay, very nice. When did you start to kind of develop your own sense of what you liked in music? When did that kind of come around for you?
I definitely was into like bad music as a teenage, like an early teenager for sure. I know that's a fact. Um, but I don't know. I think like maybe like 15, 16, I was like really getting into like more like punk and hardcore shit. And then like Black Sabbath was like the like took over everything for me.
That was the first one that really grabbed your attention.
That's the one that I feel like um was like a oh shit moment for me mentally, and especially like kind of like teaching myself guitar at that point and getting like in that loophole of being like spending so much time at home trying to learn Black Sabbath stuff. And I feel like that's definitely like the biggest one where it was my own like thing. And then my brother and I became like, because at that age we were like fighting all the time. It was like that
Sure.
classic bullshit or whatever. So I
Yeah.
guess maybe it's younger. I mean like 14 or whatever. But that was like the band that we were both like, "Oh, you like this shit?" And he's like, "Yeah, I like this." We like, all right, well, that's cool. And then we like became like brothers or whatever.
I guess you're all right. I guess your music taste isn't all bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was like so I have like another like Black Sabbath the music and then Black Sabbath like the bonding between my brother and I. I have this like it's epic for me.
Is there a certain song that stands out to you like that it's the epitome of Black Sabbath for you?
Ooh, it changes so much. I'm getting into the
As of 106 on this Monday, what are we
as
what
of
are
106. What's the
yeah.
last? Wait, let me look at the something on sabotage maybe.
All right. All
I don't
right.
know. I always go back to like killing yourself to live is like such a heavy one.
Yeah. All
But
right.
I think
I'm
that's
not
on Sabbath Bloody Sabbath.
I'll take your word for it. I'm not a big Sabbath guy, but
Okay.
I'm rolling with you on that it is from that album.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, that's awesome. So the 14, 15-ish kinda area that
Yeah,
we're working
that
in.
sounds about right.
And was guitar the first instrument that you picked up? You're like, yeah, I wanted to learn this.
I think I did drums in like school band. That's like the first thing I can remember. And then they put me, I did snare for something and I was like just like a fucking clown where I would like throw the sticks in the air and then they moved me to triangle.
Why? I don't know. I don't understand why they moved you.
Yeah,
That's
I was just being that kid where they were like, you gotta stop doing that. And I was like, fuck you, pretty much.
is that
And
you
then
gotta fail to learn. I mean,
yeah.
I yeah.
And then I quit without telling my family or anything, 'cause I was like, "I'm not fucking playing Triangle," which, like, I don't think you were allowed to go what the teachers were like I could tell I kinda remember them being like, "Are you, like, allowed to quit?" And then they were like, "Alright, if you don't wanna do it," and then, like, not telling my mom, and then them calling them and sh my mom being all mad at me.
I like how they had to check, like, this is really a gray area. We don't know what the rule is.
Yeah,
Can he quit? Can he not?
I don't think people were really quitting, you just, like, did it because you were told to do it. And I was like, "I don't wanna play the Triangle."
Not you, dude. Black Sabbath wouldn't do that either. I get you. Yeah. And dancing for that matter as well. Yeah.
Yeah, but there was, like, the snare, so to speak, and then yeah, then guitar was, like, it took over.
Okay. During that you went straight from the well, technically triangle
No,
to guitar.
no, it was probably some my brother's, like, best friend at the time kinda just gave me, like, kind of like a shitty little g like, guitar that he had, and then probably when I was, like, 12 or 13, I'm thinking, and
Oh
then they
wow,
were
okay.
just, like he didn't, like I forget the whole reason, he didn't want it anymore or something, and, like, I was I guess, expressed interest, and then that was, like, off to the races kind of vibe.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That is really rad. So at what point did you start kind of playing with other people and playing in different kind of little projects?
Relatively soon after, a bunch of the kids I, like, grew up with, we all, like, liked the same shitty pop punk or whatever, or versions of that kinda thing. So I feel like we, like, started doing the most, like, cliche, like, garage, shitty music thing probably, like yeah, maybe the next year? Like, 6th grade sounds like right? 6th or 7th grade,
Kind
maybe?
of kind of late to start that. Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That
Uh
sounds about right. I mean,
all right.
all like the cliche, like your one friend's like, "Oh, I kinda wanna play the drums," and he figures that and it's just like it all falls together kind of thing.
And then he doesn't know how to play snare and then you got to show him how to play the snare drum and
Yeah.
that's that whole thing, right?
Yeah, that's the
Classic.
whole thing. As you just smack it and throw your stick in there.
Yeah, and you got to like practice though because
Yeah, you gotta practice
and
that.
people don't want to let you practice and it's kind of wild so you kind of got to break the rules just to even learn how to do it.
Yeah, dude.
And then you get into gray areas with drums, and and then that's a whole avenue, as you know. I mean, I don't want
Yeah.
to cover previous covered tracks, but just
Yeah,
to
it's a
get
nightmare.
it's a
I'm
nightmare.
honestly scarred from it, dude.
So I mean, so this is progressing through high school, right? That you just keep on
Yeah.
playing with other people and stuff. All right.
Yeah, for sure.
And at what point did you start kind of playing shows with people?
We definitely that iteration of whatever that band was into, like that band probably, like, died off because I think a lot of those friends of mine kinda stopped being interested in playing music after, like, 8th grade or something, and it just kind of, like, was something that it clicked for me, it didn't really click for them, which is whatever, everyone was, like all my friends were, like, pretty good at skateboarding and I wasn't, so, like, I think that the derailment was, like, it's more fun to
Was
go
a
outside.
handrail. It was a handrail is
Hey,
what the
now.
derailment was.
I think that they all wanted to, like, do that more, which just makes total sense, I was just bad at skateboarding. But I think we played one show, like a classic pay to play show that was, terrible at a place that, like, I used to go see show a lot of cool shows at. And then it kinda fell off, and then, I don't know, I guess, like, later down the road, more shows and I really can't I'm having, like, a mental block of it, but I would, like in high school, I started, kinda going to, like, visit my brother more, he went to school at, like, Rutgers in New Jersey, and, like, New Brunswick at that time, like, was really sick. I mean, kind of always has been. So really sick for like basement shows, like a lot of DIY punk and a lot of like whatever. So I would just go there on the weekends during high school all the time, and just go see a bunch of shows. So I kind of met people through that, and with me and my brother had always like been in and out of playing music together and doing some shows like that.
So
Those were
he
definitely
was
like,
also into playing music as well. It wasn't
yeah,
just
yeah. I guess left that out. He definitely was like in punk bands and stuff when I was younger, and then like I said, when he was in college, it was like more of a thing. So it would be really cool. I just have to see so many sick bands, for years. So that's like I would just kind of always just bail on like Friday after school. I'd like go home. My mom would drop me off at the train station because it's like a 45-minute train ride, and then have a really wild weekend, and then come back like Sunday night and go to school Monday and be like, "Whoa, I feel crazy." But it was sick. I mean, he definitely showed me a lot of cool shit, and I got to experience probably not like the average weekend uh kids in New Jersey, like, or at least around me, were doing.
right, right.
Yeah.
You were like kind of more Sopranos a little bit like that, kind of going against the grain.
They might have been more Sopranos.
Look, somebody's got to be Sopranos either way. I mean, somebody's got to
Someone's
do it.
gotta be.
It's that's I think that's the rule. I mean,
Yeah,
in every community, not just New Jersey, even outside of it, it's like who is the most
yeah.
Tony, you know?
Who's Tony? Who's Sil?
Who's Sil? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, who's
Who's
Polly?
of
I've met a lot of
course.
Pollys in my life.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're more of a Paulie than a Tony or vice versa? Or
I don't feel like I'm any of them, but
and I mean, Garden State was also a huge New Jersey movie.
I feel like I remember that movie, but is there like a mouse in that movie? That's a
I
main thing,
I don't remember, but it there very well could be. I just remember Zach Braff was like, "Hey, I'm
right?
making this movie," and I mean, Scrubs was pretty big. I
Scrubs
remember
was
that.
pretty big. Scrubs was pretty big. I
No one,
definitely I don't know if I've seen all of I remember it was like such a fucking thing, but I know the soundtrack was like a thing for everyone.
yeah.
I don't
And
know if I've seen the whole movie.
do you
Uh,
think you'll eventually see that whole movie from beginning to
no,
end? Okay,
no, I don't.
the time has passed. It's done. All
I
right, very
don't.
well. Again, apologies to Zach Braff. I know he tunes in every once in a while, so
Yeah, he checks in every once in a while just to make sure you're not roasting Scrubs or Garden State.
I would never do such a thing. I
Yeah,
would
I know
never.
you wouldn't. I'm not saying you would.
Big Scrubs fan, huge,
Massive Scrubs.
massive Scrubs
I
fan.
don't even
Him.
think I've ever seen Scrubs before. Now that I think, oh, I've seen like a few episodes, but I don't know
Okay.
like the whole storyline for sure, or if there is
Well,
one.
they work in a hospital.
I know that.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, hey,
I know they wear scrubs.
you got the whole shebang then. I mean, you
That's
basically the
it.
whole that's the a large part of the premise. Yeah.
It's Cheers in a hospital or what?
Kinda. Yeah, yeah,
Just
yeah.
throwing that out there. Have you watched Taxi recently?
No, but I remember that kind of being syndicated a little bit when I was a
Right.
kid and not so much now, and I don't know why.
It's a fun watch. There's definitely some like hit or miss moments, but Taxi's pretty sick. Taxi and Cheers, I feel like go hand in hand.
Definitely. What about Frasier? Is Frasier in there as well?
I like Frasier in Cheers. I
But
like
not
his character. He just gets destroyed all the time. It's hilarious. But I don't think is Frasier good?
I really haven't watched enough of it
Okay.
to give a clear thing, but I know it's in Seattle and he takes a lot
Right.
of calls. He's
Yep.
Yeah. Maybe I got to
He's a
check it out
radio
because
guy.
he has a microphone and he wears headphones and stuff and yeah,
Maybe he's
maybe
like a sex help guy or like a advice columnist guy.
something like that.
But he doesn't seem, I mean, this is obnoxious, but he doesn't seem like the guy I want to get that advice from.
Well, this
But
is
what
the
do I
thing
know?
though. Most people don't see his face, so you're not seeing the guy, you're just hearing the guy.
Uh, that is true.
So I think that
Right,
factors in as well.
right, right. You got me on that.
Next
You got me.
caller. No, so you're kind of you're traveling to different part. You said what part of New Jersey was your brother in at that
He
time?
was going to college in New Brunswick,
New
which is
Brunswick.
like known for through a lot of bands who kind of got big in the 2000s before he was going there. They like that was like a scene. It's like a known thing, like the New Brunswick basement scene, or it was to me as a fucking high school kid. That's for sure.
311, these kind of guys.
Boom, all the hitters, 311, Sublime came out of New Brunswick, New Jersey. Nobody knows that. It doesn't make sense.
Definitely got some East Coast, like,
It's
twang to it.
big East Coast energy, dude.
Big East Coast. You're traveling to different places, kinda checking out the scenes, and do you I mean, you eventually moved to New York, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what was that kinda process like? Was that after high school that you kinda
No, I like moved out here for a little bit and hated it, and then went back to New Jersey and was like, back the vibe of like back to your parents' house, um, like figuring out probably like like 22 or something, figuring it out, and just like was doing normal bullshit all the time, just like hanging out with kids I knew and just like getting really bored. And then I just started like working. I have this vivid memory of like I'd worked like 7 days a week for like a few months and just like didn't do anything except go to work, come home, like just saving so much money. And then with the idea, because I was going in and out of the city a lot, like I feel like that time of 2000, I don't even know, but New York was like so much fun. And it was so sick being like 22 and going there like all the time. So I was just like, I'm saving money and moving there. And then like as soon as I heard a room open at a friend's apartment, I was like, cool, I'm in. And then like the next like told my mom, I was like, yeah, I'm moving like in a month or less. Like this room opens, like I'm out. And
and
then
you won't see me that month because I'll be working every day that month.
I literally would just work, come home and have dinner with my parents, and then like go to bed. It was really like intense.
Like a good 22-year-old should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd already done all the fucking psycho partying. Not that that stopped any time. It was just like I'm pretty good if like, oh shit, this is like I could just be this guy who's doing this forever, like the or like make a big move. I knew deep down I was like, I have to like make another move. I don't want to be the guy who like lives with his parents anymore. Not that there's anything wrong with that at all.
That's also it's a different move and it's also strong.
Yeah, there's nothing
Both of
wrong
them.
with that. I
Yeah.
just knew for me, I was like, I can't deal with my parents every night, like yeah, and then I moved to New York and fucking never looked back. It was pretty sick.
What were you doing in that time frame of not taking a day off, just working all 7 days every week?
I like I don't even remember how I got this job. I worked for a gardening company. Um, and I was just like so on it and was cared so much that it was like they made me the manager of this thing, but pretty much like for like 5 or 6 Home Depots on that East Coast, like in that zone where I would kind of live between like 50 miles, New Jersey, like all the gardening sections of Home Depot were like there's this company. So I would like go there early as shit and like water everything and then like inventory like what we need to buy, what's selling, what's not selling, like all that shit. So I just go
Dang,
to Home Depots all the time or like their headquarters, which is like a giant farm.
very cool.
Yeah, it was it's kind of a bummer that my brain's so stupid that I didn't retain any of that flower information. Because I had
I
to
mean,
know so much shit, dude. It was insane.
you could always go back though. I mean,
I can't. I
and
don't
start
think
it
they
up.
liked me anymore. They
What
politely let me go, I think.
they don't know you on the West Coast. You could
It's
be a
true.
whole other person over here.
It's
By the way,
true.
real quick, when you're walking into these Home Depots, you're usually just going through the outside gates, or was there times that you had to go around the whole storefront to walk around to the gardening section? Because that
Oh,
would have been a pain, kind of. I feel like.
that's a good question, but
Thank
both.
you.
But
Yeah.
I had some Home Depot homies because it was like their lunchroom was my lunchroom.
Mhm.
So I would chill with a lot of Home Depot guys. I learned a lot about the finessement of how people fuck over Home Depot a lot at that job.
Allegedly.
Allegedly,
We're
that is
not.
true.
Yeah. That was
Allegedly,
and
I should rewind that hard, actually, for sure.
these practices were done prior,
Right,
not anymore.
it's
It's
true.
all been patched up. So yeah, nobody's doing nothing at Home Depot.
Yeah.
Um, did they at some of the places that you went to? Did they have like kind of the hot dog guy outside or like
Oh yeah,
somebody sell?
dude.
Yeah, okay. I didn't know if that
The
was a
hot dog
regional
guy
thing.
fucking rocks. It's definitely more, if my memory is correct, it's more of a thing out here
Hmm.
because the year round they would have like moving. operation because the year-round shit out here works because there's not never a day it's 30 degrees and snowing, you know? So it doesn't make sense for like half the year on the East Coast to have that. But they definitely have like their own versions of that, which is sick.
That would put a damper on the dogs, and I didn't think about that until now.
Yeah, they'll definitely damper on the dogs. You're
Yeah,
totally right about that.
yeah, and the buns, I'd never even factored that in. So, by the way, you're kind of dealing with the snow situation on like bags of soil and these kind of
Right.
things.
Well, it
Yeah.
was only the summer. It was like a summertime job for like, yeah, I guess that it was like a whole season of like spring into fall. And then it would like you would do something else. I would have done something else, but that was like that whole time was like the whole time I was just fucking grinding.
And by the whole time, you mean the whole time, every
Yeah.
day. Yeah.
And then yeah, and then after that, they had I towards the end I was getting very leisurely with the hours I was clocking in, so to speak. And I had a phone call towards the end of the season that was like, "Hey, we're gonna let you go." I remember actually I was in New Brunswick at my brother's house, and I was like, "I think I just got fired," and I was like, "All right." But then I think I moved to New York like the month after that, maybe. Yeah,
All right. Well, so then it worked out.
yeah, it served
Okay.
its purpose.
So you get to New York, and you got a spot immediately. Are you like, I gotta pursue music here? Is that like the first thing on the agenda, or
Um, yeah, you know what? I think I had it was like a tied together with this an old friend of mine who I haven't seen in forever, Zach, who I was like hanging out with, was in a band, starting a band like this, and we, whenever I was in New York, there's always like some point someone's like jamming on something, or you're just kind of in that, and it was like, oh, you move here. I feel like this happened. It was like we can put this thing together. So it was definitely like a slingshotted, like I'm gonna move to New York and we're gonna go down this road with these guys who I think the band was kind of already getting its thing. So
okay?
yeah, for sure. I think it might have took a little bit of time, but yeah, for the most part, it was like the main band I was doing for a second, which just kind of like nothing really happened. We did like a few tours, but
Nothing really happened. We just toured the fucking globe
we did not tour the globe.
and became rock stars.
We were into Japan the next day, man.
Yeah, it's like Kyoto, Tokyo, come
Yeah.
back to New York. Yeah, Berlin, sure. Yeah, I'm flying out of there. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
going to
all of them.
Iceland.
I'll go anywhere, honestly.
Yeah, Reykjavik, I'm coming. So you're in that band, and then are you just kind of like just finding different things to do? Some other band to join, or are you trying to start your own thing at that point? Like when this
um,
thing with your buddy ended?
yeah, I like fizzled out, and then I was like, just how New York was. It was, I was just making more friends in like all different genres, like punk, having like the connection of the New Jersey shit through my brother. I'd met people from New York who would come there, so I like slowly had met a few people who lived there. Was going to a lot more punk shows and shit, and meeting people like that, and then so just being around that, and I guess after that band, I was in a few other bands and shit, just kind of, yeah, definitely like being like, oh, I want to be. I wasn't like writing so much of that other band. It's called Sun Abduction, but
Sun Abduction,
yeah, which was
SUN or SON?
SUN because it
Okay.
was like a Spaceman 3 kind of psych band. Definitely not a translatable band name for sure. I was like, this is not the best name. But yeah, then I started a band called Fur Helmet with some friends, and then another band called Barbed Wire that was kind of like rock and roll. And in Fur Helmet, actually, the bass player of Fur Helmet is Kyla, is the bass player of Color Green.
Oh wow. Okay.
So
Rad.
I've known her for a long time. But those were kind of
Very
the
cool.
main things. There was like random shit I would do here and there and jam with people, but those became the main things, um, for sure. That were just kind of like always did like mid. Like people were like, I don't think people really liked it that much, but those are like the main bands in New York for me. Yeah,
It's like you're only traveling to Hawaii, not all the way to Tokyo with some of those bands. Like that's
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of the deal.
yeah. We're driving to fucking Richmond and back pretty much, or Texas. We did a few
That's
gigs.
way that's different. That's a different drive.
Yeah.
Richmond to
We did
Austin or whatever.
a few tours, but neither of the bands really like took off in any way,
Hmm.
which is
So
fun.
you kind of juggling both of these or multiple things at the same time.
Well, Fernando Helmet was like definitely the first thing or iterations around that, and then that kind of fizzled off, and then Barbed Wire became like the thing right after that
Hmm.
with some other friends, and then that became like my like obsessive brainchild, or tried to be. Um,
And after Fur Helmet, was that when you kind of crossed paths with Noah Cole? Is that kind of when that interaction occurred?
um, no, it would be like Barbed Wire was a band when I met Noah for sure. Like I remember that because he had known one of his like earlier him or Gordy who played bass in Barbed Wire and Noah had met. It was either like one of them had it was like the first person they'd met when they moved to New York. I forget which way it went, something like that. But yeah, I met him somewhere through that, and then we started working together.
And that was scooping beans. I
That was
heard.
scooping coffee beans, yeah, and
Okay.
delivering coffee beans all throughout Nueva York City
Via bicycle.
via that'd be psycho. He was doing some other bicycle shit, I think, but no, via through a nice Mercedes Sprinter, which was nice.
Was thinking you were gonna say Nissan, but no, no, no.
No, no, they had the nice shit.
The Mercedes Benz for the beans. Everybody knows that. Yeah, top
Yeah, the
quality
Ben for the
beans.
beans.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So is that when you kind of got to know him more
Yeah, I think I'd
more than
met
you
him like
did?
here or there, like I just around the city at shows maybe. And then yeah, like that job was like so much of your time. You were just if you were on the road with someone, it was just like, you and another person. So driving around the city all day. So it's like, you gotta get to talking or else you're gonna fucking be miserable. It's like so yeah, we just shot the shit a bunch. Like everybody at that job you become friends with, you just start shooting the shit all the time and yeah.
Now, would you go on these bean runs with other people?
Oh
Like, would
yeah,
it?
of course.
Okay, it's a rotating cast of
Yeah,
characters
yeah.
in the Sprinter.
Oh yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. And at what point do you and Noah like, hey, like let's get together and kind of jam, or was that was kind of the inception of you guys getting together initially?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you ever when it happened, but it was like I don't know, we always talk about this band Acetone, but it their re-release stuff had come out and we both were in the van, I think, just being like, "Oh, this is sick." Um and being like I don't know about exactly for him, but for me their music is so most of it's so mellow and I hadn't played anything like that ever. So in my head I was like, "Oh, it'd be really really cool to try to do something like so different from me, like such a mellow music that's like really beautiful." And I think he felt the same way. And then it was like, well, let's just like get together one day and meet. I think the first time we jammed was at a practice space I had, and we like me playing guitar and him just kind of on drums, just like being like, let's figure out something. And we kind of like shelled out what the song Night would be on our EP. Like kind of that day, I feel like a half of it maybe got being like, oh, this is cool. Like definitely being like, oh, this works. And this one thing we have here is cool. And like, let's revisit it.
That immediate, that
Yeah, I
that
feel
same
like
day.
that
Wow,
first time we jammed, it was definitely like I had that main riff thing, and it was like we had that, and then we just kind of went off from there.
wow. So it took some time to get used to each other playing music. It seems like kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of impressive how fast it worked,
Yeah,
you know,
right.
which is a
Uh,
great sign, obviously.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I do agree with you there, Corey. I can't. I'm not gonna argue with you. I think that that's a terrific point that you just made there. Um, was it kind of a? Do you feel like you were kind of stepping into another, not uncomfortable, but kind of uncharted for you in a way, like
Yeah,
territory with music?
definitely. Like absolutely. I'd never done anything that like mellow, chill rock kind of thing. Everything I was trying to do was like or at that moment the band Barbed Wire was like, we worship him and it was just like Detroit rock and roll rip off, or like Thin Lizzy, like AC/DC. Like this is what it's pretty obvious. Like wear it all on the sleeve, kind of like rock and roll.
Pretty
So
mellow, yeah.
yeah, very mellow shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was cool. I mean, it definitely like pointed my brain in a different way, which was a nice challenge. Which I feel like is like the goal of playing music, is always challenging yourself or pushing into yourself and to try to do something you're not like extremely comfortable with, you know.
Are you uncomfortable kind of being comfortable in a way, if that makes any sense with
Yeah.
music? Mhm.
I think that's to a degree, but I think that's a general thing in my for my entire life, for everything. If everything is really chill, I'm like, well, something's wrong, which just sucks. I wish you could just be like, this is cool and relaxing and it works. But there's always like a way in my stupid brain to like be like, this isn't it's fucked. And it's not.
Right, right, and let me tell you, get Corey, it's not, it's great,
Yeah.
and you're doing it. Let me just say from outside source, you're doing great. It's not fucked yet, and I will let you know. I will
Yeah,
call
thank
you
you.
on it. Well,
Please
yeah,
call me.
mhm.
Page me, actually, if you could.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm glad that you mentioned that.
And hit my sidekick.
Yeah, yeah.
Damn. Do you have a sidekick?
I didn't. I had like just like a regular Verizon thing, but I never had like a slide one. I never had a slide phone.
Yeah, me neither. I was just thinking about as I said that, I was like, damn, the sidekicks were such a thing when they came out.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
that
people were
one.
like, that was like you were somebody if you had a sidekick, I feel like.
Do you recall your first cell phone? Like what it was?
I won my first phone. I don't the irony of it, I was at a carnival or something with of that nature. And I won it in a vending machine after like bothering my dad for it so bad. And I actually won it. And then I got it. My parents were like, you're not actually having a phone, dude. And they were like, I think they took it. I don't know what they did with it, but it just became like a toy. But God, what definitely something like shitty as hell. I can't remember when it would have been. Maybe like ninth grade or like some sort of Verizon phone for sure.
Verizon. Fine.
We're a big Verizon family at the Madden household.
Sure, sure. I mean, hey, you can't beat that coverage. Using
Yeah,
the map, I mean,
I've
hey,
seen it.
you're pretty
I've
covered.
seen it.
Were you able to choose your own your cell phone number? Was that an option for you?
I don't think so. I still have the same number.
Since
Uh,
since you've had a cell phone, you had the same
I
number.
think so. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I mean, I haven't. It's a New Jersey number, so I don't remember having a getting another number. I
Now,
think. I don't even know.
when did you how many cell phones have you had?
Like we're in
Just
the cell phone category.
just yeah. I mean, hey, we did Home Depot. That's checked off.
Right, right.
I said we got the whole Home Depot thing down. This is just a little sidetrack that we're doing here.
I don't know. I don't know. Probably like five. I've
Okay.
had the same iPhone. This thing is an older iPhone. It's beat to shit. I feel like I used to care about that shit. And I feel like uh, 3, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, I was like, man, I do not give a shit as long as it like works and you can take a kind of cool picture, like, and there's like an audio thing that's good on it for like demos or whatnot. I'm like, that's literally all I give a fuck about.
And at the end of the day, I think you had the right mindset in the beginning. It is a toy. It's just
Right.
a toy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that we'll see more people doing flip phones?
Maybe the singer of that band, Barbed Wire, my friend Ben, had a flip phone up and it could take me a second to find it, but he texted me within the last, I would say a year or two ago, I got a text message from a random number that was like, "I got a fucking iPhone, baby," and I was like, who is this?" And yeah, so he had a flip phone up until a year or two ago, and some other people I know have just crossed over. So they were the
Now,
last holdouts that I
that
know.
very strong holdouts on that.
Yeah,
Which I do respect that. I like that.
I've definitely flirted with the idea in the past few years of just being like going back to a flip phone.
Hmm.
But if it was easy, like if you could easily get to an email, are like necessities and it was a flip phone, I'd probably do it. But it just seems like harder to get shit done. Like if I want to respond to an email, I'd be like, fuck. I have to like
Mhm.
get to a computer.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe a slide. A slide is better because you got like you don't have to do the 1, 2, 3 on the texting.
That's true. This is true.
Yeah, that took a minute to respond to,
Yeah, yeah.
which is fine, and I was happy when it sent. I was more
Sure.
fulfilled. I said, "Whoa, I got coverage."
Yeah, you did it.
Um,
It's
Even
not
though I was with Sprint when that was a thing at the time
mm,
with the Verizon phone, um,
right.
just crossing all barriers. I was not brand loyal.
Yeah.
Yeah, very very stoked that I went through. I go, yeah, and then
Yeah.
it's
A big
I
yeah.
a big yeah. Yeah. Anyways, okay, going back to music, getting off the phone talk. But I do want you to come on my other podcast, Tech Talk,
Tech
and
Talk. I thought it was called Dialed Up.
it FKA, formerly known as Dialed Up.
Okay.
That's a
Cool,
way
cool,
better name.
cool.
Dialed Up is a way better name. So you and Noah are kind of starting color green, and it wasn't color green at that point, right? I mean, still
No,
in New
that no.
York.
I mean, honestly, yeah, like he probably said it was definitely not like a like let's start this band. It was like a like, oh, this is cool, like this is fun. There's no name for it. And then we like recorded it all before I was moving here. We recorded the EP before I was kind of bailing to move out to LA. And it was like, oh, let's just like we have these songs, let's just do them just to feel like we did something. And that was like pretty much all I think either of us thought it was gonna be, and then kind of take its own natural path from there, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. So what was the time duration between like the first jam session and getting that album recorded? And that was in New Mexico, right?
No, so the first thing I had left New York in 2018, so probably like 2017, we were like getting parts of it together, and then being like, I had like, oh, I think I'm like leaving. I left in October, so I think it was like, yeah, I'm moving in October. At the time, he was living like a 5 minute, 10 minute walk from my apartment. He was living in like this basement that had like drums in it and had like a 388 to record. So I just went over there for like 3 days maybe, and we kind of banged out what the EP would be. And then I left. Yeah. So it's all like it's got to be 2017 to late 2018 for sure.
And real quick, I mean, you had mentioned before that initially moving out of your folks' house the first time you came out to California. What was that in pursuit of? Were you just trying to try
Just
something
music
new?
shit. Yeah, it was like the classic like 19-year-old like thinking it's gonna work, or that like moving to California, like let's fucking go, and then being like, woof, you know, woof.
Whoops,
Which in
that's on
some
me.
way,
I fucked up.
yeah, in some way, I wonder if I had stuck it out more at that point, if things would have been different. But you know, I'm not mad at the idea of like the way things have happened in my life. I definitely
Right.
like, loved that time living in New York. So it's like that definitely wouldn't have happened.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Now, what prompted the secondary move?
Um, all those bands I was kind of mentioning, like they weren't like not yeah, like I was saying, nothing was really like jumping that way, and it was just becoming like party mode. Not that anything really changed when I moved to LA, but it was like just mega party mode, and like musically nothing really going down for me personally. So it was kind of like a bummer. And then my girlfriend at the time, I got a job here, and she was like, "I'm out." She was like, "I have to be there in like 2 weeks." It was like kind of a wild turnaround. So I was like, "Oh, I'm not leaving that fat." It was kind of like this weird, obviously she like got the job, and it was like I might have been a month or less. She's like, "I'm moving to LA." Like, oh shit. So I was like, well, I'm not leaving yet, maybe. So I stuck around New York for like a while, for like a few more months, and I think I was like, yeah, fuck it, like what do I got to lose?
Right. And
Um,
what was it in those interim months that you were recording the color green stuff? What ended up
yeah,
being
I
the
guess it would have
EP?
been, yeah, yeah. I guess
Okay.
so. Yeah.
So by the way, did you drive all the way out to
Oh,
California?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Rad. How was that?
It was pretty sick. So she had flown back and she had like this she had this epic 23-pound cat. But she still does, I think. So we like drove across with this massive cat, which was had its ups and downs. He was tight. But it was cool, yeah.
Modern day Smokey and the Bandit, of course.
Yeah. There
Yeah.
was a few funny hiccups on the road, but otherwise it was a nice late fall drive, yeah. That's cool. I
Yeah.
had a fucking tractor though, or a trailer, sorry.
I was
Uh,
gonna say, where you parking that in New York and in
yeah.
LA?
That was needed because it was like a bunch of our shit, but fuck, do I never want to drive with a it's so annoying having a trailer.
What was the vehicle?
I believe, man, it was some sort of like small SUV. I fucking got the car. We drove out there. I'm living in down like pretty much off of Skid Row at a friend's apartment. We were living there, like dying to get work. Finally got a job. This is like out of a fucking movie. Finally got a job in like Venice. Like driving there, and I get fucking T-boned like gnarly in on like 7th and Sam, like straight up Skid Row. Like this girl just fucking nails me, gets out of the car immediately, is like, oh my God. Like she had a red light like all day. Gets out of the car, is like, oh my God, I was texting my friend. And I was like, what? She just like completely was like, I was on my phone, doesn't have insurance. Cops wouldn't come because it was like Skid Row. Like cops drove by us and we're like, they'll figure it out. Like I called the cops and they were like, I was like, she doesn't have insurance. I just need to like have this obvious shit. And they were like, you guys will figure it out. And I was like, what the fuck do you mean we'll figure it out,
I'm
dude?
having a hard time now. That's why I'm
Yeah,
calling
yeah,
you.
right. We're not figuring it out right now, buddy.
Look, buddy, I've tried. I'm you're not my first call. Okay.
Yeah,
Like
like her
we
bumper was like in the middle of the road, you know?
oh my gosh.
And that took forever to get settled, but it did. But yeah, that I forget what car it was. Like I literally had that car for 2 months, maybe.
And you put on a lot of miles on that card though.
Yeah, it was like a used car, like for sure. I've never
Yeah.
owned a new car in my life, but yeah, I was like just getting used to the car, you know. It's a weird trip.
Just breaking it in and then it broke.
Yeah, luckily she T-boned me on the passenger side because I probably would have been fucked if she had hit me on my side.
Was there anything from your apartment or your ex's apartment, current ex's? I don't want
X,
to
yeah, it's X.
ex's
Yeah.
ex's apartment that was still in the car that you did.
No, no, we had like been here already. We'd been like
Okay, all right.
it'd
So
been like a month after we moved.
everything was out of the car. The trailer's
Yeah, yeah.
back at I'm assuming U-Haul or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. We were chilling by then.
And
A
this is in
weird.
down. And you were living in downtown LA, and then you had a job in Venice.
Yeah, yeah. I got
Super
like a
close.
production job.
Very. I mean, that's for people who are not familiar with that area. It's just like 2 blocks over. Really, really
Yeah,
close.
short drive. And like right
Probably didn't
off.
even have to drive. Probably didn't even have to
Yeah.
drive.
Like I had driven for maybe 3 minutes in like a 45-minute car ride, and I was like on the phone being like, yo. And I've done a lot of shit in that world, and it's funny, like everyone's like, "Oh, sorry to hear that. Like, when do you think you can get here?" You know, it's like that vibe where you're like, "Well, I don't fucking know. My car is like dented. The tire's like dented in." So I was like, "I'm gonna try to get there as soon as I can, as soon as I can figure out anything." But it's like zero kind of sympathy-ish. But
There was more leniency at the Home Depot job. No, I mean they would have kind of gave a little bit more of a shit.
oh yeah, the Woods. I think that company was called Woods, which is a great name. I think the
Classic.
Woods family would have been like, you know what? Take the day off, sort your shit out.
And you said I can't. I worked all 7 days. You know me. I'm
Yeah,
a
it's
hard
like I
worker.
don't
That's
take
what
days off, brother.
you said. That's not possible. Please come pick me up. We do have more
Yeah,
runs to do.
I was like, let's go. I'll leave my car right here.
I'm getting a hot dog. When can you be here?
Yep, meet me at the
Got it.
hot dog stand.
I'll be outside. So that was your kind of welcome to LA moment pretty early
Yeah, the
on.
first year I lived here was pretty gnarly, man. It was just like all losers, like massive L's. And so like in regards to the last time when I was just so like wasn't working for me, I was like I could just move back to New York, but I was like I'll feel like a fucking not a failure, but I'll feel like a massive step backwards in my life if I just go back to like the life I was just living, you know.
Mhm.
So I just stuck it out and it fucking worked out.
When
Ish,
did what
I guess. You know?
jury's still out on the
Yeah.
verdict. But we're making a go of it. How when did stuff start to turn around for you? Do you feel that you're like kind of getting your bearings and
So
figuring
I was
stuff out?
definitely like full blown. That girlfriend of mine, like another cliche, we like broke up. We were like together for like 5 years and we broke up in a year, maybe less, like classic. So then I was just fucking, I was kind of ripping through all my, I had no car. I was living off the money I got from that car. Just kind of like being a moron, I guess, looking back on it. But I was like just bumming around, living on people's couches for a long time. A lot of friends of mine who saved my ass for sure. And then I went on a tour with the friends, some friends bands in Europe for like 2 months. It was like one of those saving moments where I was like, "Hey, do you want to go play bass on this tour?" Uh, it was like a month or two in Europe, and I was like, "Yes, absolutely. I don't like have a home." um, and then it felt like after that, like I came back maybe a little more happy. I don't know. There was like some momentum, and then it just kind of like getting some more work, just getting normal, and then found a place that was affordable with some friends. Just kind of all like the slow steps, kind of like pieced together. Fucking finally, you know, it was
And
probably a good year or two, and year and a half at least, probably of just like really figuring out, you know.
yeah. Well,
But
I'm glad it all got figured out, sorted
yeah,
out.
it's kind of funny, like where I live right now. I have like this pretty gnarly memory of the 2 days before that tour. I was like partying around here and was like, no one would let me like sleep at there. Everyone was like, you got to sleep somewhere else, which I get. Everyone was like, dude, I was like, hey, can I crash there tonight? And they're like, no, man. I was like, for sure, get it. So I used to just wandering these streets, like completely out of my mind, till like 9 or 10 a.m. And then the singer of that band picked me up. I slept at his house, and then the next morning we flew to like fucking Amsterdam.
Oh,
But it is a trip.
that was your bon voyage.
Yeah, like the bank, the Chase Bank that I go to, like I remember like stumbling into it like 9 a.m. to like hide from the sun for a little bit or something, you know. Pretty
Exchange
like
some
low.
currency, sure.
Yeah. I'll definitely a low moment in my life, but it's a trip. Sometimes like I'll be like, whoa, like it's crazy to think of where I was at that point.
In where you are now, because you now
Yeah.
own that mansion that you were looking at.
Right. I own that Chase Bank actually.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm big in the bank world.
I mean, I knew the name rang a bell, but I didn't know that
Yep.
it is indeed Corey Chase. That's wild. That's insane.
Yeah.
This is a stage name, this Madden character
Yeah,
that you
that's
speak
Madden
of.
bullshit. I'm just trying to hide my bank earnings.
Yeah, Maiden Madden. I
All of
understand.
it.
Yeah, you're just really trying to hide that money.
Dude, does it look like Maiden? I mean, my family and me for sure have gotten Maiden so much my entire life, and I don't understand it.
I knew immediately it was Madden because
There's no I in it. I'm like,
yeah.
where do people get Maiden from? This happens all the time, though.
I'm glad that we're really setting a lot of things straight on this podcast here,
Yeah,
and I
we're getting a
appreciate
lot of shit down.
it's Madden. It always has been, always will be. If it's not Chase,
If it's not Chase, it's Madden.
if it's not Chase, it's Madden. So all right, so you come back from this tour feeling rejuvenated in a way. You say, all right,
But
I'm getting my stuff together. At what point is Color Green kind of making moves
still
to
not
where we are
for
now?
maybe I couldn't. It was over COVID, so yeah. So I like come back, and I was some of those dudes I was on tour with were in another band here called Richard Rose that I was kind of in, and that was like at the time was like there was some other projects I was doing here and there, but that was like becoming. I was like, okay, this band is like doing. It was doing cool shit, and it was cool. It was just kind of there was a breakup within other guys in the band, sadly, which is a bummer. And then during COVID is when like Noah had played the EP to some friends, and they kind of were like, "Oh, we'll put this." I think they were down to put it out, and that's kind of when, so like 2020 ish. was definitely COVID, I remember that, so that's really, like, really stemmed to become something, you know?
Did that shock you when there was interest in putting it out, releasing it on a physical?
I guess yes and no, you know? It was, like, cool to me. People, like, loved the fact that it was, like, lo-fi or what like, lo-fi chill rock, I guess people were really into or whatever, but,
And
uh
that and lo-fi chill hip hop beats to study to. Those are very
yeah, to study too.
mhm.
But, yeah, it was definitely, like, I think Noah and I kind of, like, here and there have been, like, texting, being like, "Maybe we should try to do something," like, very loosely, and then it, like, kinda picked up, and it was like I was like, "Alright, fuck it, let's see what do we got to lose," you know?
Yeah, and he stayed out here as well, or he ended up coming out here as
He
well?
was in New Mexico,
Mhm.
um, when that was happening. He was living with some friends of ours who were the ones who were like, "Yeah, we're down to put it out."
Very cool.
Yeah.
So, did that kinda give you more of a win not I wanna say a second win, but more of a wind to, like, "Alright, let's kind of expand on color green?"
Yeah, that's pretty much, I was in New Jersey dealing with some family shit during COVID, and then that was all happening, and it was, like, obviously, like, flying was, like, this weird I was in New Jersey for, like, 6 months, and it was kind of it was kind of like the, "Yo, I need to, like, get back to LA," but it was, like, I don't know how or whatever, and I had no car again. Bought, like,
Uh,
a used car, um, and drove across again, but I went to New Mexico to meet up with them because they were all living at, this, like, crazy land, like an earth ship, they're called out there, it was really amazing. And then we were just kind of like, "Yeah, we started writing more," and it was just like, "Let's take it a little more seriously," and that's where, like, the first LP kinda got shaped, and then, they had to, like they had to move out, and he came to LA, and then we were just like, "Alright, let's do it." We just kinda, like, went to work on that.
so it was during that process of talking about putting releasing the first EP, it
Right.
was when you guys started working on the first album?
I guess, yeah, it might have already yeah, yeah. It was like, okay, if they're gonna put it out, it was like, "Well, do you kinda wanna, like, try more?" It might have been the idea of, like, "Let's just pick it up and see where it goes from there." I can't really maybe he has a better memory of it, but I can't put, like, a finger down on, like, a specific moment. I think it was just, like, in the air and, like, kinda maybe getting like, "Okay, this is getting some pull, like, it's exciting," or whatnot. And then, while I was in New Jersey, I was definitely, like, pivoting, having a guitar there, kind of, like, pivoting, being like, "Oh, this could be fun to do," and, like, just kind of getting that in the mode and start writing in that mode again.
Yeah, had you kinda, detached from working on your own stuff during that time while playing in these other bands and groups and
With
things?
that stuff, yeah, I had started like, the early aughts of, like, a solo idea of, like, a singer-songwriter, like, outsider folk or whatever you wanna call it. Like, that was, like I was deeply trying to, like, get my head into that mode, which is another one of those moments of, like, completely new territory of, I was, like, really focusing on that. And then it was just, like, was switched it was, like, both of them at that point.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I like that your mindset switch from, "I gotta go back to New Jersey," to, "I gotta go back to California." That I like that. Real
Yeah,
quick,
it was a gnarly time in New Jersey, and then I was there with my mom, so at least that was nice.
that
But
is
it was,
nice.
like, after I think I was there, yeah, from February to July, I came back, so it was like, it's time to, like, leave, you know?
A little vacation, never hurt anybody.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a vacation, but yeah, it was, like, time to get back to, like, some sort of reality, you know?
Mhm. What
Yeah.
was the car that you made the second trek in?
Car I have right now from there is a 2009 Toyota Venza, baby.
Whoa!
Which I'm
Alright, don't
seeing a lot more these days.
yeah, I can't really picture that car, but
It's
I
kind of like a RAV4 if it was a station wagon.
very nice.
That makes sense.
Yeah, no, I'm envisioning it, but
Yeah.
you're seeing more pop up now is what you're
I think
saying.
they just redid it as, like, an electric car. I'm
Mm.
noticing it a lot more. But yeah, the Venza life, dude. I give my Venza people a double honk. I'm like, yeah, yeah. No one ever. Everyone's always just like looks at me like I'm an asshole.
You know, I always like to look if like somebody else is driving, like we're driving this, and then people are they don't give a shit. They
Yeah,
go,
they give
yeah,
a
yeah,
fuck.
and I don't like that.
Yeah, me neither. I
I
feel
don't
like
like
it's
that
like,
kind of
yo,
behavior.
same car. I've seen a lot of the exact same car of mine, which is really weird. Like the older ones in the same color. I've seen like two or three in LA, and I've been like, whoa, weird. And even those people are like, give me the wheel. I'm like, dude, come on. This car is a little bit of like a niche purchase. Like,
There's two of three of us, and we're on the same boulevard right now.
yeah, let's
Can we
go, dude.
acknowledge
One of
that?
them fucking has pencil. I used to have Jersey license plates. I have it, California ones now, but one of them is around the corner from where the job I work is with Philadelphia or Pennsylvania plates. Same exact car, Pennsylvania plates. I used to see it like every day, but I never saw the person. And I literally would drive by this car parking to go to work. That it, I was in my head, I was like, if I see this person, I'm going to be like, yo, what up? Like, I got this in New Jersey. We have the same car. That's kind of cool. And they would probably go like, cool, man, later.
I hate that, dude. It's
I
like, can we
know.
can we just bond on this? This is
I think if
us.
it was in LA, well, maybe, who knows? I feel like if we were in fucking, I don't know, fucking Boise or something, they'd
I
be
would
like,
say Philly. Philly might be a little bit more receptive to that.
maybe.
But
That's a
I don't,
tough call. It's been a
I
while
don't,
since I've been to Philly.
um, was that ever on the table for you? Like maybe I'll move to Philly. Was that ever in your mind at all?
Um, yeah, so my like high school like girlfriend who I dated after high school was went to school there. So I was going there all the time actually. When I was like right out of high school, I was going there all the time, which I was like hit or miss on, and then I ended up becoming full circle on being like Philly rocks, and it was like in the air for because it's so affordable and it's cool. But it was like a yeah, yes. Once I moved to New York, I was like, nah, I wouldn't go to Philly, but
It was an option though. You were contemplating
yeah,
it at
for sure. It
least.
was definitely like in the air. I
Very
like it
cool.
there. I'm gonna be there in a few weeks. I'm excited. It's been a long time.
And you're scoping out for your same car,
Yeah,
perhaps.
I'm just going to scope out for fucking Toyota '09 Toyota Venzas in gold,
That's an odd. I don't care what kind of car you have. Just
dark
to
gold.
have.
My brother called it shit. He was like, "Your car color is shit," and I was like, "It's dark gold, but okay."
What does he drive? A
I
light
don't
gold
fucking even
one.
know. I think he just got a new car. He drove like the dinkiest, shittiest car forever that he hated. It was like,
So you you get back. You're working on this new album, the first LP. And did you
yeah.
feel like with the working on that, it kind of helped solidify what the band was going to do and like what the music of the band was?
Yeah, sort of. There was definitely like um things like songs and ideas that were just in the air that just kind of like got formed together and me and Noah just were writing a lot. Like I would bring a song, kind of like how we always will do it, and even more expanded now with Corey and Kylo, where like all four inputs matter. But it would be like I'd bring a song to Noah, and I'm like, "Oh, I need this one part," and he'd be like, "Oh, what if we try that?" Like vice versa. It was kind of this back and forth thing of being like, I need help with this part or lyrics for this, or Noah would have like half a song, and I'd be like, one of us would hear it and be like, we had a really good relationship going of like, he had this shed at his old house that he turned into like a little rock room that we would just link up in all the time um, and just shell out songs between him and I. Yeah.
Did you prefer the basement or the shed?
The bass, oh, like where we recorded.
Yeah.
The shed was sick. The shed was cool. The shed was like in his back little, like, he lived on like you had to like drive down a little driveway. It was like a little hidden house in the back. So the shed, you could just like crack the door open and smoke cigs and fucking rock a guitar. You know, that's
And
cool.
that's what LA is about.
Yeah, it sure is, man.
Smoking cigarettes, playing music in sheds mostly.
Yeah, I
It's
think that it was. Do you know Uranium Club? Or
no,
they're like a
I've never been
cool like
there.
kind of Devo. Or I don't know if they're still a band, but I
Oh, I
think
thought it's
they
a
used to
place.
live in
Yeah,
that house. But they had
I'm
that
way
house used to. What was that?
I thought it was a place. I'm sorry. I
Oh,
was
sorry, yeah,
like,
no,
no,
it's a
I've
band.
never been there. Okay, so it's a band.
Yeah, I think that was like their jam room too. So, but the shed rocked.
And now where's the space? Is it a shed? Is it a
Now we're like part of a practice space in down, it's just like a classic practice space. And have you ever been to downtown rehearsal? You know that place?
no, I haven't. Good place though. Kind of same vibes as the shed.
Not, the vibe is very different, but it's just like a giant, huge warehouse in downtown LA that like has a bunch of rooms, but it's like on the LA River kind of.
Scenic.
Yeah, it's very industrial, so the vibe
They're
is
in industrial scenic. These are both synonyms in
yeah,
my eyes.
totally.
Um, and with this upcoming album,
But
do you feel like that was another shift
yeah,
for the band?
yeah, definitely. This one feels like, the band is kind of doing what I would hope everyone hopes that music does is like each release to me, I don't know if I would if the listener would hear that. Each release is like has our thing, but it has something new and creative that's a little bit different. And that's kind of the idea. I think this whole band is kind of on the same page with that, where it's like we don't really want to make this. I don't think anybody wants to make the same record ever. No one really wants to, and it can just happen without you really realizing it. But it does feel like with this lineup now, it kind of just naturally has changed. It's definitely like harder. It's more like rocking tracks on this record, but then it also has like the cool, really nice mellow shit still. So I think this is like a really nice new step for the band.
A little bit of both,
Yeah,
a little taste of both. That's
all
awesome.
of it. Yeah.
Um, Corey, man, I do appreciate you coming on here. Thank you
Thanks for
so
having me.
much. But before I let you go, I do have some promo to do here.
Yeah,
So, Kelly Green's music is streaming everywhere, wherever you get your music. That's where you could find it. The first two albums, can be bought through the Bandcamp. I think that's the best place to go
sure. Yeah,
purchase those. Yeah.
yeah,
And that's at colorgreen.bandcamp.com, as well as their website, which is colorgreenband.com. And everybody can stay up to date with shows through that website as well. Again, that's
yeah.
colorgreenband.com, and by following them on Instagram at colorgreen. And the new album that we spoke about for what seems like the entirety of this whole podcast.
Yeah, I'm really good at derailing shit and
No,
talking
that was
nonsense.
me, but I had a tremendous time. But people just listen to the back half of this. They only want to hear like the promo stuff. They don't want to hear any of this other
Yeah,
stuff.
just all the
Um,
links.
just what's going on, what's new. Fool's Parade is out July 12th via New West Records.
Hell yeah,
And the people can pre-order it right now because it's coming out on Friday. So the pre-order is available.
cool.
Um, and you can go ahead and go pre-order that through newwestrecords.com, and that'll be linked below. So go ahead and go follow that link on whatever you're listening to this on. And the newest single off the album, then there's gonna be like a couple more or one more before this
Yeah, I
comes
think it was
out.
like four of them or something like that, which seems crazy. Boom.
Well, the first one and the newest one right now is Four Leaf Clover, and that's out now with the new music video, and that'll be linked below. So definitely go check
Cool.
that out. And Corey's solo album, which we touched down upon for at least 30 minutes.
At least 45 minutes to an hour.
That feels more right. Taste the Hour. And now,
Yeah.
real quick, was that the album that you were working on or kind of fiddling around with in New
Um,
Jersey?
yeah, I mean, I can get into that. And a lot of shit, I actually don't even know. Was writing so much for that. I think I'm actually looking at a board right behind my computer that's like all the songs for this project, for this whole thing. One of them maybe came from to that recording, but I'm slowly grabbing a bunch of songs that I've had for a while and like compiling them into like different kind of releases. But that was the project for sure. But I think only
Very
one of
cool.
the songs on Taste the Hour stemmed out of that writing process specifically.
And there's new stuff on the horizon.
Yeah, as much I'm trying, there's a bunch of stuff being worked on. It's just trying to not. like spread myself mentally too thin.
Oh, I think
But
I think you're supposed to do that though as a musician. I think you're supposed to have your hand in a lot of stuff all the time and just
yeah,
yeah,
I do. I do. But it's yeah. But there's some new stuff I'm working on for sure that I'm more proud of for sure.
very cool. Well, if you haven't heard it, go check it out. And again, that's Taste the Hour, and that's out now through Worried Songs Records.
Yeah.
And people can go buy the. I love that it's a cassette. People can go buy the cassette through Worried Songs Bandcamp,
Yes,
which is
please.
worriedsongs.bandcamp.com. Go buy those
Yes.
tapes. I think there's only one more. It said. It said,
Yeah.
and we might not even have this. That's how high in demand these things are.
They're yeah.
I mean, they're fucking flying off the shelves, dude.
Yeah, they made 1 million of them too. They made 1 million cassettes. Can you believe
Un
it?
Unheard of.
Unheard of, yeah.
And it said there might be one left.
Yeah,
So
maybe.
maybe with a little shrugging guy. Kind of,
Really happy. You're the shrugging guy.
yeah, I never
Yeah.
even saw that emoji on like a band camp before. They're like, maybe
On the Bandcamp.
selling like hotcakes. Yeah, so go check out all that awesome stuff and all that stuff will be linked below. And Corey, do we have anything else to promote?
Do we have anything else to promote though? Awkward. No, dude. That's it. That's it. Just look out if you're in Savannah, Georgia. We're coming to Savannah. Color Green's coming there in a
Very
few weeks.
cool.
When does this come out?
This is Friday.
Yeah, we're playing Dog Days Fest in Savannah. Come out to that.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very rad. And again, follow the band on Instagram to keep up to date with all shows, not just Dog Days, but all the other stuff afterwards.
Yes. Come to all of them, please.
Just start, just start, just start to it. You say, "Hey, I want to see the country." This is a good time to do it. I've heard you guys been called the new Grateful Dead.
Oh man.
That's what I've heard because I just said it right now, and I'm putting
You
that
just
in
said
there.
it.
The new Grateful Dead, ladies and gentlemen. That's what Color Green is.
Oh no.
So, deadheads and acid makers,
Acid
um,
makers and acid takers.
acid makers don't go there. Actually, you guys are staunchly anti-drug, and I know that straight edge.
Sure.
Right, right. Corey, thank you so much.
Thank you,
Again,
man.
Fool's Parade out July 12th via New West Records, and go pre-order that right now. It's gonna be, I'm calling it right now. It's gonna be a great album,
Thank you.
and I appreciate you, Corey. I'm gonna stop recording this. I'll talk to you in a minute. Okay.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much, man. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.